Well, I've just spent 4 years working really hard, going from knowing less, knowing more. I also was on the Planning Commission for 6 years prior to that, and on another commission of adjustments and appeals that did all the variances. That's since been rolled into the Planning Commission. But I was on that for 6 years and chaired that for 4. So I know a lot about development of the city, in fact, and have done a certain amount of influence in how the city is developed. When I started, you didn't see a lot of foliage and flowers and benches and such around town. And it was something I started asking. As people wanted variances, I started saying, well, what about a little nicer flowering bushes rather than regular bushes? Or had you considered doing this or that? And finally it got to the point where people were starting to do it by themselves. They realized you could, have a very vibrant look for the cost of a few hostas or a few daylilies and a few flowers. You've got it out here in your building. And you don't have to ask for it as much anymore. People are doing it. We've been able to get benches by a program where businesses and people can, do benches with, memorial benches for one kind or another. That helps the walkability of the city. You'll find a few more public art and fountains and things that people have put into their buildings because they can see it looks nice. And as you put that together, it makes it a nicer place to both live, and I think had something to do with our being the #1 city. They certainly showed pictures of, flowers and things, and getting that going to the point where it took a life of itself and kept going is part of what the city looks like today. And I probably gave it a starting push, but it's something that I still, as new projects come in, take a look at as well. Also, I've been on school board committees in the past. I've stayed active as a council member on the Eden Prairie Foundation. I still do things like my church food committee, and I try to do a lot of the volunteer activities just to stay, talking to people and doing the kinds of things that I've always done. You don't stop being a part of the community just because you become an elected official. You really need to get out even more. So, and people do ask you about stuff, and I ask about things. The other thing I'm also on has gone into the Chamber Government Committee since I've been on, to give businessmen access to government officials and try to go to their lunches and ask questions about things that are coming up, trying to get their input just like I do, with residents as I talk to, or gatherings that I go to. I often ask questions about, this is happening, what do you think? And I listen. I also answer my emails most of the time. Get really a lot of good information from people that know stuff, that send you information about things that are coming up. It does make a difference.